Welcome to Ed Fluential Sports, where passion meets precision. I'm your host, Ed, diving deep into the plays, players, and stories shaping the game. And this is my AEW Worlds End recap, the last AEW pay-per-view of 2025, last wrestling pay-per-view of 2025, if I'm not mistaken, because I wouldn't imagine maybe New Japan might be doing something to close out the year. I know they got something to start the year coming up since Tanahashi is retiring soon. But yeah, AEW's last pay-per-view of the year, and it delivered. It was a 10 out of 10 for me. Not a single bad match. A lot of stories progressed. There was some interesting story details for some of these matches, and let's get into it. It started with the Continental Classic semifinals matches. First, you had Takeshita versus Okada, which is something that fans been waiting on for a long time to happen in the AEW since they started teasing it. Okada, the greatest tournament wrestler of all time. So, got right into it. Okada had he had the best run in the Continental Classic this year. Definitely one of the most fun Continental Classics, which I'll talk about later. But this was a good match. Had Don Callis on commentary since nobody is allowed at ringside, and they're both part of the Don Callis family. It was a slow pace start to this match, which actually works best for both of them because it's like with them, because they're both heels. The semifinal matches included four heels in it, but since it's a tournament, it worked out, and it didn't matter too much in the end. Like, yeah, they could have added a baby face, but it worked better with it being four heels because it was like these are the most viable contenders to be the Continental Champion at this point. But yeah, great match. Had a flurry of at exchange of reversals because they know each other well from tag teaming with each other, and obviously not working so well as a tag team, but they pretty much been able to study each other moves leading up to the Continental Classic and not face until this stage, post the group stage, and Okada had the screwdriver, hit the catcher with it, and he ends up winning. So one of the heels cheated to win, and it was Okada. He got the win. Takeshita took the loss. But I think they're gonna do this again on a bigger stage. Oh man, 2026. I expect this to happen again. This is not the end of the story, but they finally went 1-on-1. The Don Callis family is still alive and well. Now we've already seen the cracks within the Don Callis family, but that's gonna be a continuous story. But I think Takeshita and Okada, it has to be an all man match, and they can do it for no title, do it for a title. I don't think it matters, but they going this is gonna be on a bigger stage because people's like, why isn't it in the semifinals? I think they put it in the semifinals because Tony Khan knows he wants to do this match again. This is not the end of this. And then next you had the other Continental Classic semifinal match. Excuse me. You had Cal Fletcher taking on John Moxley. This was a good match as well. I think the first match was definitely better to me for the Continental Classic semifinals, but this wasn't a bad match at all. Diego was a little long, considering it was heel versus heel, but it worked out, especially with Cal Fletcher stalling early on. Like, I don't think John Moxley isn't the guy you need to be stalling and taunting against. Like, that played into why he ended up losing the match. Like, if it's somebody else, like a Roderick Strong or like maybe even against like Pac, like it could work against somebody like that. But doing that against John Moxley, somebody who's been a four-time world champion in this company, IWGP world champion, like you can't be struggling like that early on. Now, Kyle Fletcher did target the ankle, which I did like because recently John Moxley has tapped out a few times in his matches. I forgot to change his banner. But John Moxley recently has tapped out in a few of his matches. So Cal Fletcher targeting that same leg that people have put him in submissions against to force him to tap out, that was really smart on the end of Kyle Fletcher. Like, that was one of the best story elements of this match. And yeah, and then Moxley he did his thing, had a good showing in the match, ended up winning. He was able to reverse a few of Kyle Fletcher's moves, then he ended up choking him out to get the win. I ain't have a problem with that. Like, I did want Kyle Fletcher to win since he was in the semifinals last year and lost to Osprey uh, in last year's World End. But this Yeah, him losing in the semifinals, it made sense, especially what came after that, since Okada was going to lose. But what I didn't like, um, Cal Fletcher didn't sell the choke out at all. He got choked out, and immediately he was attacking John Moxley. Like, he didn't sell it. That's also just bad booking. Had the Don Callis family come out there and attack him because it's like you didn't sell that at all. You just got choked out, then you up immediately. And that's the only part I didn't like about it. But aside from that, it was a good match. Next, you had Chicago Street Fight for the AEW World Tag Team titles between FTR, the champions, and the Bang Bang Gang. Yes, that's their name. Uh, this was um this was a good match. I enjoyed it. It wasn't too much to take away from it. Like they fought around the arena, fought around the crowd. So it's like, yeah, it was a pretty standard street fight, but I did enjoy it more than their last match because their last match was just regular 2-on-2, and it's like Evan, the Bang Bang game knows prepared. If Don Callis get involved, there's no excuses. We still got to do what we can to win, and they played into that story. FTR was able to retain. Stokely got involved a few times, didn't seem to matter. He also landed hard as hell on his head. I hope he's all right. But yeah, this was a fun street fight. It was better than their first match since there's no rules and the story was deeper at this point. The FTR retained. Didn't think they would lose, but a great match between these two teams. Then you had another tag team match. This one for the women's tag team championships between the Babes Saraf taking on Mercedes Monet and Athena. Also enjoyed this match. This is one of my favorite matches of the night. One of the best matches of the night. This is the second best match of the night behind Moxley winning the Continental Championship from Okada. We had the second best match of the night. Willow, she did her thing right out the gate. She was beating on Mercedes. I was like, yeah, she still won't get back for that TBS championship when she lost. Because Mercedes been champ for almost 2 years at this point, and she beat Willow to win it. They having a rematch soon, which I'm not a fan of, because like Mercedes had a lot of championships. Willow already got a championship, so she gonna get the rematch. She gonna lose, cool. But I like how Willow, like right out the gate, she was beating on Mercedes. Yeah, no remorse for Mercedes. Then Harley Cameron, I think that they had good chemistry wrestling each other. Like the whole match in general, all four women had good chemistry with each other from start to finish. I really enjoyed it. Then Willow ended up rolling up Mercedes for the win. Finally got that pin back after over 500 days of her being champion. But it's like Willow did other stuff to build herself back up to be a champion again. So, like I said, I don't see her beating Mercedes for the TBS championship, but it's definitely going to be a banger of a match on this Wednesday on Dynamite. Either this Wednesday or, wait, because this Wednesday is 31st. Yeah, I think it's this Wednesday. Either this Wednesday or next Wednesday. But I know the match is soon. And then the match that I was least excited for, Darby Allin versus Gabe Kidd. The reason I was least excited for it is because the story feels dead. Like Gabe Kidd is not a bad wrestler. I never said that. I actually enjoy Gabe Kidd. I've seen him in New Japan multiple times. As part of the Bullet Club War Dogs. He been doing his thing in Japan. But the story with the Death Riders and Darby feels kind of dead since he lost to Pac with Wheeler Yuta getting involved, but he beat John Moxley. It's like you're gonna tell the Death Rider story, you're doing it the wrong way. If he was gonna tell this story, he shouldn't have beat Mox first. He should have had to battle all the Death Riders before getting to John Moxley. Like why is he battling them after beating Moxley already? That don't make sense. But this match, I had no problems with it. It was an intense start from Gabe Kidd. He was destroying Darby Allin. He's a vicious heel doing his job. So him just destroying Darby Allin, not going for nothing. And it's like Darby really had to work throughout this match to get back into it, and Darby did end up getting a win, but it wasn't tough at all. The Scorpion Deathlock, he's adopted that from Sting. So I like seeing Darby use the Scorpion Death Drop since that's the guy that Sting wanted to put over going out as tag team champions together. But yeah, the only gripe with this match, and it's not even like it didn't make the match bad. It was just them biting each other. I'm like, you niggas are sick. But aside from that, that's because as a wrestler, if I'm a wrestler, I'm not agreeing for another man to bite me, and I'm not biting another man. That's weird. Biting anybody in general is weird, but especially in the wrestling ring, I'm like, there's so much more stuff you could have did. And then Gabe Kidd did this one move where he sent Darby like right through the steel steps. He had him under it, and then I forgot the name of the move, but he blasted Darby's face, and Darby was busted open. Then Gabe Kidd, he started bleeding like later in the match, or maybe that was some of Darby's blood, but Darby Allin is a nut. He ended up winning the match, so good for him. He did win by roll up, which I was like back to back matches ending with roll ups, but it makes sense in both circumstances. I was fine. I was more fine with Willow doing it because it's like they already have a story right there. Darby doing it, I feel like he could have just Yeah, Gabe Kid supposed to be a vicious heel, so I guess I feel like it's another way they could have did that. But the match was fine. It was a good match. Next, you had the Mixed Nuts Mayhem match. You had the Death Riders featuring Claudio Castagnoli, Willa Yuta, Pac, and Marina Shafir taking on the conglomeration, which consisted of Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, who Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong. What's the TNT champion Mark Briscoe and Tony Storm. This was a really fun match. Like it started with all eight of them going at it. And when AEW does the intergender, intergender tag team matches, they allow the men and women to hit each other. I didn't realize Marina Shafir and Roger Strong were married in real life. So they Marina Shafir kicked the shit out of Roderick Strong. Then he slapped her. Uh, he slapped her back. So that was a cool moment. Commentary didn't acknowledge it, so good on them. Cause I ain't even seen. I uh, saw a post on Instagram, and that's how I found out. Cause I didn't realize they was married. But yeah, and then Tony Storm and Orange Cassidy, they did some really funny stuff, like them dancing while wrestling at the same time was hilarious. I really enjoyed that. The Death Riders didn't show any remorse. Claudio took Tony Storm swinging. That was a cool moment. It's just a really fun match. Sometimes you just gotta have fun with it, and I enjoyed this. I ain't have no problems with this match. I thought it was a great match personally. And then you had Tony Storm do the hip attack to Willa Yuta. Briscoe hit Jay Driller to Willa Yuta and ended up getting the pin. Makes sense. He the TNT champion. Let him get the pin. Maybe they can still have a match. Hopefully, having a tag team match. So maybe Willa Yuta can go to the TNT title, still lose, but they're done. And then that's a different conversation that's going to be brought up later about the Death Riders and what's next for them. But maybe you can have Willa Yuta still go after the TNT championship, him lose, and then the Death Riders they have to reset because Moxley is the only one that's able to win gold within the Death Riders. Maybe Marina Shafir had another good performance, and maybe she could go after the World Championship. She don't gotta win it, but her and Chris Statlander just having a match would be good in my opinion. I feel like for the Death Riders, it just depends on what they're doing with this story. Jamie Hayter versus Chris Statlander. A lot of people seem not to care about this match, which in all fairness, cool. Because it's like it's a face versus face match. You didn't get a heel turn. Like you got teasers of maybe Jamie Hayter turn heel, but that didn't happen. And then it was like it was no roll up, it was no shenanigans. It was a straight up 1-on-1 match. It was clean. Like the build, it wasn't great because it was like can they coexist thing, which we see a lot of times in wrestling. But I don't have a problem with it because sometimes certain storylines are always repeated. Now, hopefully for Chris's next feud, that's not the case. But it's like if they give her a heel like Marina Shafir, I think they could tell a good story too. Because Marina Shafir has improved, so I think you could definitely do that because I think Tekla will be a good opponent for Chris as well. But I think that's a match you save for like all in 2026. I think that's a big match you can do there, or maybe Revolution. Like you got time to do that. But a face versus face match for Tone. Actually, Chris had back to back face versus face defenses. The first one it was fine because it was Tony Storm and she just lost the match. And AEW does do like rematch clauses most of the time, so that was fine. It's like then you're already feuding with the Triangle of Madness, but Jamie Hayter she wants a shot because she's teaming with Chris to help take them on. It's like okay, like the Sisters of Sin had to win the tag titles first, and then Taker got to go after the World Championship. So keep building up the Sisters of Sin to eventually beat the Babes of Wrath to win the titles. But Chris and Jamie, like it was a good match. The promo between them, the last one was really good. I think they both did a great job, and they tried to. Hater played the heel in this match, but he's still a face, and it wasn't no turn at the end. So, and then Jamie Hayter, she talked about how she had Willow Chris's number, but as soon as the match started, just minutes into the match, Jamie Hayter was frustrated. So she quickly realized this not the same Chris Statlander she faced in the past. Because it's been like a year or something since they faced each other. So this ain't the same Chris Statlander. She not in the mid card no more. She in the main event scene. See, right before the two most important matches, and this is the third most important match of the night, realistically. Even though it's focused around the Continental Classic, they still gave them solid time to build the feud. Like it was solid. I wish they would have get. I wish it wouldn't have been the can they coexist storyline. Like I get that they both faces, but it would have been nice to see something different going into the match. And then Jamie Hayter, she clotheslined Chris over the top rope. That was a cool spot. I'm looking at my notes. I'm trying to see what. Then Chris Statlander, he delivered a powerful knee strike to Jamie Hayter. But Chris Statlander, double underhook power driver, and then she hit her finisher. Forgot the name of it. Chris Statlander ended up retaining, ended up winning to retain the AEW Women's World Championship. I'm hoping, even though Marina Shafir lost, I think she didn't take the pin in that Mixed Nuts Mayhem match. So Marina Shafir, go after Chris Statlander. I think it'll be a good match. Have Chris retain. Like I know Marina, she's supposed to be the dominant one. It's like you got Marina Shafir, Megan Bain, Tekla. Like you got some top heels for Chris to take on now. And you got these faces out the way and Tony Storm and Jamie Hayter. But a Tekla, Megan Bain, Marina Shafir. Trying to think. Maybe Mercedes again when she loses the TBS championship. Athena once she loses the Ring of Honor championship. Like it's some top heels for Chris Statlander to face if she had a belt to All In next year, or if she had it like right before All In. Like they got, hey Tony Khan, y'all got some tough heels. Now the Continental Classic Finals match. This was the best match on the card for me. I enjoyed this better than the Moxley and Cal Fletcher match, and that was a good match. Like I know a lot of people love that one, but this match with Moxley and Okada, best match of the night. Like it wasn't super long. The psychology was really good. It worked for a heel versus heel match. Like you usually don't see. Like it's hard to make a heel versus heel or face versus face match like super good. And the other ones that they did in the night were good as well. Like I said, Jamie and Chris, good match. The semifinals Continental Classic matches, good matches. But this was an amazing match. This wasn't just good. This exceeded good. This exceeded great. This was the best match of the night, and that's easily, in my opinion, with the second best match being the Babes of Wrath retaining their women's tag titles. But going into this, John Moxley 4-2 in the tournament, and that's counting the semifinals as well. Going into it, Okada 5 wins, no losses, 1 tie. He's being promoted as the greatest tournament wrestler of all time. So if you feed into John Cena being the GOAT of WWE, you got to feed into Okada being the greatest tournament wrestler of all time. Won multiple G1 climaxes, won 4 if I'm not mistaken. Won the Continental Classic last year. So he's back in the finals, so looking to be the first to repeat in the Continental Classic. Wasn't able to pull it off. He had Moxley flipping off Okada, which was really funny. So, and then the fans were cheering for Moxley. Like Moxley is likely trying to face soon, which I'll get to, but had Okada targeting Moxley's injury, not ignoring that. Smart. Okada is a great heel. He already knew going into it. Moxley, not only has he tapped out multiple times before the tournament, and even before the tournament, he tapped to Darby. He lost to Hangman. It's been a rough year. Post All In, it's been rough for John Moxley. But the Continental Classic, it was saving him. He was doing his thing in the Continental Classic. He had Okada. He was like, earlier he got injured. That ankle, it was targeted by Cal Fletcher. So I'm going to do the same thing and do it to an even higher degree. I'm going to target that throughout the match. Moxley, great job selling the injury. As if he's still fighting, but he can barely stand up. And the only reason he was able to stand up later in the match was the adrenaline kicking in. It wasn't like he just sold it 1 second, then not. Like he sold it majority of that match. He did an excellent job selling it. A slow paced match, which is really perfect for these two, because it's like they already been beat up from the matches they had earlier in the night. Moxley got attacked post match, and that's just Okada style. Like you're not gonna see a super fast Okada match. That's not his style. That's not his pace. And then, like I said, the crowd was chanting for Moxley. And then Okada, he got the belt to distract the referee, and if he gets disqualified, he loses the belt. So we got the belt to distract the referee. Low blow, Moxley hit the Rainmaker. pinned him 1-2. Moxley kicks out. The ref gets distracted again. And I forget how he got distracted the second time. Moxley returned the favor with a low blow of his own. And then he also hit the paradigm shift, which wasn't enough to end the match. So it had to continue. Then Moxley hit the rain. He had his own version of the Rainmaker, another paradigm shift, and Okada kicks out at just one. The crowd is shocked. They couldn't, even commentary, they couldn't believe he kicked out at one. And then you had the stomp. You had Moxley do the stomp, plus the Death Rider, and 1, 2, 3. John Moxley is your new Continental Champion. This match was amazing, start to finish. This exceeded good and great. One of the best matches I've seen all year. And I'm going to be making a list at the top 25 matches of 2025. I already know what 22 of them are. It's still 3 more. But yeah, that's going to be coming out sometime this week. I'm going to post it on YouTube, on Instagram, on Threads, on TikTok. So make sure when y'all get a chance, make sure y'all subscribe to Ed Fluential Sports. Make sure y'all follow me on Instagram and Threads at the Paradox Ed, Ed Fluential Sports on TikTok as well. But John Moxley, he finished the tournament 5-2. Okada finishes 5-1-1, and the Death Rider celebrate with John Moxley, and Moxley cuts a very babyface like promo. The reason why they're teasing Moxley as a babyface, they were chanting for him in these semifinals matches. So he cut the babyface like promo. Claudio seems confused. They can't do the turn now because it's not enough tension built up. Yes, Moxley lost the belt, and yes, then he lost to Darby, but Pat got the revenge for Darby. They also lost the trios titles, which Moxley wasn't a part of. He wasn't. That was all Pat, Claudio, Yuta, um, Gabe Kidd. They lost the trios titles. Marina Shafir, she lost in the tag team tournament. So it's not enough tension. They're winning again. Moxley won. The Death Riders, they suffered a loss as well, and Gabe Kidd suffered a loss. So Moxley was the only Death Rider to come away with a win. He has another belt. This is how they build up the tension to eventually end the Death Riders. The story is still progressing. It's not ending yet, but this was great. It was one of the best promos all year, and John Moxley has always been able to cut a great promo. So once again, another great Moxley promo. But to close us out, the main event, Swerve Strickland recently returned. MJF recently returned. Hangman, former world champion. Just like MJF and Swerve. Samoa Joe, current world champion. A fatal 4-way for the AEW World Championship. This match, I feel like it was on. MJF was the right winner. Last year, Christian Cage failed the contract cash in, so you couldn't have that happen back to back years. MJF was forced to cash in by making an announcement and inserting himself into the triple threat, making it a fatal 4-way. And he was able to get away. He was able to get the win. And it was a really good match. It wasn't nothing like even the heels didn't do nothing like that was like crazy cheap to win. It was like, yeah, the ops got involved, but that didn't matter because Samoa Joe ended up losing. He was likely going to be a transitional champion anyways because he's talked about potentially retiring next year. Within the next 2 years, I think Samoa Joe is considering a retirement. So this was shock value, and it was a good way to build to World's End with the ops turning heel. This makes sense. Like Samoa Joe, he just works better as a heel, so he was able to get the championship as a transitional champion. And everybody looked good in the match. Swerve and Hangman, they're not finished. I think the ops is still somewhere for them to. The ops still have something to do. They still have trios titles, so that's gonna be a story they can play into. Because I don't know if because somebody is injured, if I'm not mistaken. And like Hook, they never gave him back the trios titles, so they still have championships within the ops. I don't think Samoa Joe needs to go out to MJF again, but I am ready for the first MJF promo now that he's a 2-time world champion. He got his Triple B back, but yeah, great match. No issues with the match. Um, uh, MJF took advantage of Hangman. He went for the buckshot lariat multiple times, and on that third one, MJF had to get Hangman out the equation. Was able to pin Samoa Joe. Got the win. Great work from everybody in this match. I do think he holds it till all. I do. MJF is the one wrestler I can guarantee will be champion by All In because I don't see him losing it in like a revolution or a dynasty. I don't see him losing it at something like that. Like he got to lose on a big stage, or just be a champion going into All In, with that being their biggest pay-per-view of the year. So I think MJF got to be world champion walking into that, and maybe Swerve and Hangman, even though they both faces, they could have a number one contenders match at that point, and the winner Hangman faces MJF at All In, because I do think it needs to be a one-on-one match. Because last time MJF was the world champion, he had a fatal four-way match um, at All In. But I think now that he's world champion again, have him do a one-on-one match and just have Swerve get the win there. Do Swerve and MJF, and I still think you can do something with Hangman. Like you can put him in the battle royal for the contract, and then like yeah, like these are your established main eventers. Like yeah, sometimes it might be cool to see a mid card guy get an elevate, but if Hangman lose, he gets put in that battle royal in the casino gauntlet to win the contract, and then he can cash in on his terms. That's how he could, because he a two-time world champion already. Or maybe Hangman gets the win and faces MJF, then you Swerve win the contract since he just won the world championship one time. So yeah, so I think Swerve, Samoa Joe won it twice. I think everybody two-time world champions in this that was in this fatal four-way now, except for Swerve. So it's gonna be interesting to see how he gets his second title reign. But great show from start to finish. It was amazing. 10 out of 10. Okada versus Moxley match of the night. One of the best matches of the year. Babe Sarab versus Athena and Mercedes Moné. Also another banger of a match. Second best match on the card. I can put that up there. That's gonna be in my top 25 wrestling matches of the year for 2025. But with that being said, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, comment what y'all thought of All In and of my review, and share for others to see. Peace.